What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So today we're going to take a look at Devil May Cry 5 and the reviews that have come out, because it does indeed look like Capcom is putting out the best games of 2019 so far, with Resident Evil 2 and now Devil May Cry 5. That's out this Friday, so after we take a look at it, might be worth going out and picking it up from what we're seeing. We're also going to talk about the strategy that Nintendo is talking about right now with developers for mobile games. It's not what you would think a business would tell them, but apparently this is the way Nintendo wants to tackle mobile games. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, do hit the like button. It does help out. We're going to start today with Xbox and the Master Chief Collection. As you're seeing here on Twitter, they put out a full message talking a bit about Inside Xbox. It's happening March 12th at 2 p.m. Pacific time, and they do list a couple of things that will be there. Halo, the Master Chief Collection being the big one, apparently at the top, the little green heart. Days, Z, One Piece, World Seeker, Xbox Game Pass, and more. So yeah, we'll probably have some Xbox Game Pass announcements. We technically already had some we're going to go over here in a second, but what's interesting about this is Master Chief Collection is directly at the top, and there have been a lot of rumors going around about that game so far, but a lot of it has to do with it possibly going to PC. It seems that if you look at like what Brad Sams has been saying over the past week, that it's been done. Like, the PC version of Master Chief Collection has been ready, and this could be where they're going to reveal it. Now, there's also been talks about bringing Game Pass over to PC, and well, the CEO and head of Microsoft said it themselves that that's something they want to do. So it seems like it might coincide with Game Pass, since it's already on there. If they move Game Pass completely over to PC, Master Chief Collection will already be there. And there's a possibility they could do something like announce Halo Reach maybe and drop that into the matchmaking in the playlist. Technically, it's already backwards compatible, but it's not part of the Master Chief Collection where you can mix and match different games throughout matchmaking, and then of course get like almost like a little mini remaster out of it, because they do continue to do things with the games already in there with 4K and everything. So maybe there's some big announcements in Inside Xbox. It's exciting, and I'll be taking a look and letting you guys know what's there. And while we're at it, let's stick with Game Pass real quick, because they had a surprise drop. It was supposed to, I thought, happen March 7th, but they just put it out yesterday. I don't know if it was by accident or what, because it didn't show up on Game Pass, but if you went to Just Cause 4, which has only been out for about 3 months, by the way, it appeared as something you could just download because it was part of Game Pass. Now, they had teased something that started with a J and then a bunch of letters after that. Some of us kind of thought Just Cause 4, but it seemed a little crazy because it's not that old. Like I said, Square did talk about disappointing sales after it released in December, but still, to do that is like the ultimate like discount essentially, because if you're on Game Pass, you can just get it. I downloaded it myself. It was like 55 gigabytes, so it took a little bit of time, but yeah, it worked fine. You go to it, you can download it. So Just Cause 4 is there, and Lego Batman 2. I know that's a bit a smaller announcement technically, still a fun game if you like the Lego games, but Just Cause 4, that's a big deal, and yeah, go ahead and download it because it's part of Game Pass now. We also got the announcement for the Western release date for Judgment. Now, we've known about this. It's out in Japan and everything, and we did hear it was going to be coming west. Well, now Sega did put out there the official date after it leaked on Amazon, by the way, but they put this tweet out here, and it is coming June 25th. Digital pre-orders will be starting on the PS4 PlayStation Store March 7th, 6 a.m. Pacific time. All digital pre-orders will grant early access to the full game on June 21st. They're kind of doing that weird early access thing. So I guess technically if you pre-order it, you can start playing it early, I guess, 4 days early. Weird. Well, we've seen that before, except usually you have to buy in and spend a bunch of extra money. Still, though, pretty cool to see that. We already know it was coming in the summertime, but now we have an official date, June 25th. I'll be picking that one up. It's supposed to be similar to Yakuza because it's done by the same people, but it's gonna be something I can get into without having to worry about like the other like 5 or 6 of them or whatever. So interesting stuff. Apparently it's gonna be kind of like Yakuza with Phoenix Wright, and interesting either way. I'll be picking that one up. That's June 25th. And guys, some of the quick news out of the way, let's get in the bigger stuff. We're going to start with Media Create sales charts right away. These, of course, are the physical sales from week to week in Japan. They give us an idea as to how things are doing there. I'd like to talk more about the rest of the world, but generally Japan is the only place that we get hard numbers from Famitsu and Media Create, whereas Media Create will track just physical sales. We're going to start with the top 10 from their sales charts, starting at the top with Dead or Alive 6 at 26,442. Wasn't a big day, or a big week, I should say, in Media Create, because that tops the chart at 26,442. $6,442 for a brand new release. That's not great. I mean, look, Smash Bros. Ultimate was directly behind it pretty much. Almost within margin of error, is very close, 25,617. Generally, you get less than 1,000. You could technically say it's like margin of error, but there it is there, 25,617. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe below that at number 3. Anthem at 4. That dropped 74%. So that's probably going to be dropping even further as we go along here. Left Alive at 5. Unfortunately, not a good release for Left Alive. Now, the reviews have been bearing it pretty badly, so it's apparently not a great game anyway. But still, Left Alive and Dead or Alive 6 releasing with these kind of figures are not great for either of them. At least, I guess Dead or Alive 6 has a $93 season pass with more to come, so I guess they'll at least get their money back. There you go. Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee had a 16% jump, probably just because of the Pokemon announcement. We're also going to look at hardware, and that's actually a big jump that might also have to do with that. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe there at 7, Kingdom Hearts 3 at 8. Zoids, actually, that's actually the release for Zoids. Brand new release there, 10,030 units for the Switch. Super Mario Party then at 10. That has actually been rolling along even after passing the million mark. Moving over to hardware, Nintendo Switch at the top, 68,666. That is a pretty big jump from last week. It's over 15,000 units up. Again, we're going to take a look at the comparison as well from that to the PS4. The PlayStation 4 there at 19,857. The 3DS below that, 7,521. The Vita is going to slowly start to kind of dive off here as we go along, considering it's not being manufactured anymore. So a lot of the stuff that's out there is it, and that'll kind of be all it is. It'll pretty much fall off completely, and it probably won't be in these charts probably after a month or two from now. The Xbox One below that at 90. If you take a look at the Switch and the PS4, the Switch is gaining ground on the PS4 pretty quick. If you look at, for example, Famitsu's charts that I tend to look at occasionally, but I do understand that it'll pass faster on the Famitsu chart just because they'll kind of cover things online, and the gap there is a little less at 250,000 units, whereas here it's just under 400,000 units. But yeah, you're going to hear about the Switch and the PlayStation 4. You'll hear about the Switch passing the PS4 in Japan probably in the next month or two, to be honest, especially at this rate. When we start getting into the back half of 2019 with some of the big hitters happening, then you're going to see the Switch really run away with things. It's already up year over year, and it's going to continue going into the end of this year. Now, as for Dead or Alive, it's not going to be good going forward. It's going to fall off those charts pretty quick. And Left Alive, it's going to be lucky at this point in Japan, I would say, to crack 30 to 40,000 units. It sounds crazy, but after the marketing died off for Left Alive, I had some concerns, and it doesn't seem like with the reviews that Square had a lot of confidence in that after it was kind of shaping up and it went gold. So it's a shame there. I wanted to see something that was going to call back to Front Mission, which is a very obscure and kind of niche IP at this point. I was hoping it would bring a little more light to that franchise. Unfortunately, Square's probably looking at that and saying, okay, maybe that universe isn't it for modern times, but we'll see. Next up, let's talk about Anthem. Now, I've completed Anthem. I'm done with it. I'm not really going much further past the credits that I've already seen. I just don't care that much about it. It kind of got boring towards the end. And, well, now it seems like I really don't have to care too much about doing things like getting the best weapons or what are they, master works or whatnot. Doesn't seem like it matters that much because actually somebody on Reddit realized something that was a bit off about Anthem. I like to think this is a bug and it'll be patched and fixed, but check this out. This is the full post here that was shown, and this is posted by Yeet Lord Supreme, and what they found out, as you can see right at the title, level 1 Defender Rifle is the best weapon in the game, and the damage numbers are pointless and don't mean anything. So when you shoot stuff in Anthem, you get these numbers that pop up, and it's like, oh, cool, that's how much damage I'm doing. And it's pretty cool because you see those numbers go up as you get better weapons, but here's the thing. They realized after a little while that those numbers are actually meaningless and they're not telling you the truth. It's weird, but they went towards the end of the game and started shooting things with the level 1 Defender Rifle as they're explaining, and that actually took down higher level enemies faster than the level 45 masterwork that they had spent a lot of time crafting. It is a very odd situation. Again, though, Anthem is a live service, so a lot of people will tell you, well, they'll fix that as they go along, and that's kind of unfortunate if that's kind of where we are now, is that just, you know, if a game has a problem, it's an online game, and they'll fix it as they go along. It does technically defeat the purpose of the game. Apparently, I should have kept my level 1 rifle rather than salvage it because that's better than the rifles I was using. I didn't really think about it too much as I was going through, but now that I think about it, I only changed my weapon maybe 3 or 4 times because I didn't really ever feel like I wasn't doing enough damage, and this kind of explains that, to be honest. Maybe I was all right the whole time and I never just had to change anything. Now, here's the thing. I think they will fix this. It's been pointed out. They might already know about it, right? If they do, that's kind of a shame that they released it like that. But it's something I think they will patch out. They have a full roadmap. This is probably a bug or a glitch. But it just shows that Anthem and just live services in general, they just can't seem to release without issues, glitches, bugs. I mean, this is BioWare and EA. You figure it would have come out as a quality product, but the more people look at it, the more it's not, actually. It's just not. I played through it. I didn't care about any of the dialogue. It was boring. A lot of my choices didn't mean anything. And here we are now. I'm realizing that even the end game is kind of pointless. But let me know what you guys think if you've been playing Anthem and if you ran into this, or if you've beaten it and you're kind of moving on. I'm just ready for Devil May Cry 5. Actually, next up, let's just talk about Devil May Cry 5, because reviews are out for this thing, and I have to give Capcom credit. I'm hard on Capcom a lot, I understand. They're pretty cheap overall when it comes to releases for things like the Switch, just as an example, where they will pack a little digital code in there, or they just won't release a physical version, but they'll do physical on other systems. That probably has to do with cart calls. Anyway, they are releasing some pretty good games so far, right? They just did, we just had Resident Evil 2 come out, awesome game, loved it. And now here we go with Devil May Cry 5, and I was a little concerned, I'll admit, but then I played the demo and I said, okay, this game is pretty good. It's 4K 60 even on the Xbox One X that I play on, so I'm liking that, and it's just fast-paced Devil May Cry action that a lot of people were missing after DMC came out. I wasn't a big fan of that one, to be honest. I was a little better with 4, and then 3 was awesome. So here we go with 5. It's coming out Friday, tomorrow, and it gets an 88 on Metacritic and about an 89 on OpenCritic. Now, of course, those numbers are fluctuating still, so they might be different now, but I was reading through some of those reviews, and it has like glowing reviews with a lot of places. We're talking like 9s, 9.5s, 90s, I think a couple hundreds even. This appears to be Devil May Cry, and it's back. And in fact, the Capcom CEO even said that.
Capcom is back. Yeah!
Now that is the Capcom USA CEO, but yeah, Capcom's back. I know a lot of these games that they're releasing now, like Resident Evil, which has been in development for a while. Well, we heard about that 2014, end of 2014, I think they teased it. Devil May Cry 5 probably was also in development for a bit as well. This is some good stuff from Capcom. They're spending time. I mean, Monster Hunter World also did well, and that was probably in development for a bit. So it seems like they're spending some time. They're putting games out, for the most part, that aren't these games as service games, and they're showing that they have a place in this industry right now, right? A lot of talk about single-player games dying, not being good enough to sell, and Capcom is rolling with Resident Evil sales, and now here they are at Devil May Cry 5. Think about it this way, Capcom right now is leading the running for Game of the Year. They have 2 right now that appear to be set, with Devil May Cry 5, just based on reviews and critical acclaim, Devil May Cry 5 and Resident Evil 2. I can tell you now, plenty of people are looking at Resident Evil 2 as one of their early picks for Game of the Year, and we're only in March right now. So yes, Capcom is going big, and here's the thing, I don't think we know everything they're even coming out with this year, because I think there's some announcements that are still coming up. In fact, you know what, if you want Capcom to really be back, let's get Mega Man X9 going. Let's get that out this October. That would be pretty cool. You know, maybe announce it like E3 and then launch it then. Just an idea. Then our last bit of news, let's talk a bit about the cell phone games that Nintendo is releasing in partnership with other companies. For example, Cyber Agent, and they actually talked a bit about Nintendo's stance on these cell phone games and kind of the game addiction and the amount of money that players tend to spend on some of these games. For example, we saw a report of someone actually spending $70,000 on a cell phone game. I'm trying to remember which one. I think it was like Fate Extella or something. But it's interesting to see a lot of these cell phone games really pull money from the whales, as they call them, a very small percentage of the audience that are actually playing these games, where some people might throw a few dollars here and there. There are people who throw tons of money at these games, and it can become a bit of an addiction. Well, Cyber Agent actually talked about the stance that Nintendo has right now, even telling them what they should be doing, saying, in some cases, players can spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars trying to win special items. Fearing such behavior will damage Nintendo's brand image, the company has asked its partners to adjust the games so that users won't spend too much, according to people familiar with Nintendo's strategy. So this appears to be coming from Cyber Agent, who was talking about it, a co-developer of Dragalia Lost. They go on to say further in the article, Nintendo is not interested in making a large amount of revenue from a single smartphone game. If we managed the game alone, we would have made a lot more. So this is an interesting situation, okay? So Nintendo is telling them, listen, we don't want to just absolutely rip every last penny from people playing these things, because we have seen Nintendo talk a bit about game addiction. I mean, think about it. Even back on the Wii, they would have these messages come up that's like, hey, maybe you should go outside and play a little bit. Remember they had like the little Wii remote next to the window that was open? So I think there is a bit of like protecting their image, their brand a bit by not absolutely destroying people when it comes to game addiction and whales and money in these cell phone games. Because while Nintendo is making a bunch of money, they're still technically partnered with other companies that probably want to really push the envelope. It's interesting that Nintendo is not looking that way, although we've seen people like Miyamoto even say, hey guys, calm down with these live services because you could end up really doing some damage and crashing the industry, essentially. He's basically saying, we gotta be careful here, guys. Let's not get too crazy and carried away. And, I mean, Nintendo's technically showing it in practice here, according to at least Cyber Agents. So, Dragalia Lost, I guess maybe they'll play around with their, or maybe they have already, their summon rates or the amount of money that they can try to get from you in packages, or try to do all kinds of stuff to put just ways to sell you things right in front of you. We've seen it in other gacha games before. I guess Nintendo reeled them in on a few things. Interesting stuff. Let me know what you guys think about Nintendo's stance on, I guess, making money from a bunch of different games rather than trying to rip a ton of money away from whales in just a single game. It's almost like they want to spread it between all the different games. And I think about it, Animal Crossing doesn't even really try to pull that much money from you. In fact, at one point, I guess there wasn't even really a way to buy loot boxes in the game, so interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, it really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it is the Master Chief Collection. What do you think they're going to announce at this Inside Xbox on March 12th? Do you think it is going to PC, or do you think they're getting a new game mode, a game in general, like Reach getting added to it? Let me know about that. Then what do you think about Nintendo reeling in their mobile partners when it comes to these games? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think Nintendo's just go for the throat and get as much money from everyone as they can? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.